So in like 2019, I believe it was, I published a book. And actually, 2017. I think time is just going too fast. 2017. That was a while back. Okay, so I published a book, but I've been working on that book since I was 15. It took me 15 years to finish it. Not so much that I was working on it all the time. I was working on it with my little brother at 15, and at the time there was not like a lot of killer mermaids. So we came up with this concept that we would really like to see some evil mermaids. We always see the Disney Little Mermaid, happy, pretty. I was like, let's do something like the mermaid's a bad guy. I mean, come on. Like, you didn't tell me, like, there's no bad mermaids. So we're like, okay, we're gonna make a bad guy. We're gonna make them mermaids. They're gonna be evil, killer mermaids. They can eat people. They're gonna be bad. Okay. And like, who are they gonna attack? I mean, they're in the water. I mean, like, is it gonna be like Moby Dick? They're just attacking random ships and stuff? No. Okay. We came up with an island. Okay, it's gonna be a tropical island. Yeah. We'll go. Okay. We're gonna call this thing. So we brainstorm, and we come up with the title, Harvest Island, because we're harvesting the people off the island, and basically we're capturing them, hurting them, eating them, whatever evil thing we do, lots of things, whatever your imagination come up with. The darker the better, bad things. Okay, well, why don't these people just leave? Okay, so there has to be a reason why they don't leave. There has to be a reason why they're there. How'd they get there? Why are they there? Why don't any of them solve their own problem? Well, because they all lost. They sent people to fight, they all died. And after a while, you send all your best people, you run out of best people. Your best people aren't, your farmers. And, so you just kind of hide when the mermaids show up and hope they don't snatch you up and try to survive. Okay, so that's the situation. That's the situation that our heroes come into. Like, I have the heroes traveling, the adventurers, they come in, very D&D style, So our adventurers meet each other. There are two groups of two. They meet each other on the boat. The one main character, the captain, is her friend. That's why she's in the captain's cabin. Never would happen, really. But, hey, my character's special. The captain will give up his cabin for her. Because, gotta be something extra, right? So, the other one is, like, complete opposite. They're not in the luxury of nothing. They're on, like, a little shack on the deck of the ship. They're, like, the farthest from comfort. They hook up. The ship sinks, right? I'm not giving away much because it's, like, the first thing that happens. It's, like, the ship sinks. Everybody is in the water. So our heroes land on this island. The 4 people are the only ones who survive. The only ones on the island. They're the right 4 people. Because, they always are. The heroes are always the ones that survive. And so, their first agenda is to go on their merry way. I mean, why would they do anything else? What would make them want anything to do with the situation? Well, so we do a lot of traveling. Traveling with the people on the island. Not a lot of the people, just enough to get to know them individually. Get emotionally invested. Then I realized, you know what? There's this problem with these evil mermaids. And you know what? It doesn't sit right with us. We're going to do something about it. And so, but they're not going to go in there and solve everybody's problem for them. So they have people from the island joined them. They're like, hey, we're going to do this thing. You want to come with? And they're like, what the hell? Why not? You know? And so that's how apparently ventures are when you're 15. They're just like waiting around for somebody to say, hey, would you like to go somewhere where you might die? And they're like, yeah, why not? So 15, that made sense. And so we did this outline of what's going to happen, who's going to be involved, and kind of like tagging the events throughout the book. The outline was 100 pages. So after that, then we just got to fill it in. You know, just got to actually write it. Oh my god. So I was writing on it with paper. That was the outline. After that, I would come back to it every once in a while. It got shelved for years. And I would try to type it into a computer. Try to work on it a little bit. Even came up with sequels to it. You know. But couldn't really get down to real work on it for a long time. And it was all there. I just had to write the thing. But I never thought I could. I didn't think that I was knowledgeable enough. I couldn't spell. Self-taught reader. But I couldn't spell. Learning disabled. I felt inadequate. I felt like I wasn't really a writer. And I definitely felt like there's no way I could make money at it. My creative writing teacher made enough for a cup of coffee. I'm like, if this guy can't make it, what are the chances that I'm going to make it? This guy's teaching this stuff. So it was discouraging. But my husband was very supportive. Like, aggressively supportive. Like, made me sit down and write it. And after many tearing fits of weeping and avoidance, I wrote it. And the more I wrote it, and then I was like, I'm done. I wrote it. And then it's like, now edit. Oh, like, what? Oh, yes. Writing is rewriting. So I'm editing it. And that takes longer. I actually sat down and finished it at like 2009. And the editing and re-editing. Okay, so I'm second phase of editing. My husband came to me and he's like, you know what would be really cool? If you write this character for me and put him in the story. You know what is not really cool? Coming up with a new character with his specifications and weaving it into a story already written. Trying to have him interact and be a part of scenes that he wasn't a part of. To interact with people who already have set dialogue. And just insert him in. And not look like he was just plugged in. You know? You know, just like a half-formed slab of clay stuck on a beautiful pot. I mean, like, how do I get this to weave in and look natural? So another set of stuff. And well, oh, what the hell? Since I'm weaving in this guy, why don't I weave in a couple more people? Because, you know, fun, right? And so, then I didn't know how to publish. And I didn't know where to publish. Or even, and to this day, I still don't know how to query. Apparently, that's a thing that authors do. They query, and I don't. I've seen them talk about it on Twitter. I've seen them frustrated and dismayed and just. But when they get a request, a full request, they're ecstatic. Now, full request is not guaranteed publishing. Oh, when they get a representative, they get that person's going to represent them. they are just over the moon. So I still don't know what that process is, and I just can't stay focused long enough to do the research to figure it out. I need a bullet point presentation for what that is. So, but in the end, I did self-publishing. As a new person, I did the vanity one. Yeah. If you've published, you know what I'm talking about. The vanity one is where you pay them and they publish your book. Self-publishing is free. If you're paying to publish the book, you are not doing it the smartest way. I didn't do it the smartest way. I started out with book fuel. Costs quite a bit. And then I had to have cover art. My husband became friends with a guy across the street from us in Costa Mesa, California. He was an artist. Had the guy read the book. Had him come up with a concept art. And it doesn't look anything like how I had imagined it. It didn't look anything like the characters. I still can't identify some of them on the cover of who they're supposed to be in the book. But this is what he read, and this is how he saw it. And I wanted my initial reaction to be like, no, that's not my vision. But in the end, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to be in control of how people see these characters in their heads when they're reading the book. These characters are going to be interpreted so many different ways. They're going to be seen very different than how I see it. And the scene is going to be different than how I see it because they're not seeing what I saw. And if I didn't communicate clearly enough so that they see what I see in my head, well, I can't be bucking at what they actually saw. Yeah? If this is what he saw, odds are this is probably pretty close to what the book looks like to the average reader. So I'm like, okay, you know what? It's a beautiful cover. It's unique. It's eye-catching. It feeds the eye. And it's everything I like in a book cover. And I went with it. I used a different font. He actually created a font for me. I used a different font. And he was upset. But the plan was that I'm going to re-release it later with his font. It's something that has to change for the re-release. But the font would be the special thing. You know. And so I got out the door. I got it published. I put it up there. And I got my author copy. And I was excited. My author copy came to basically for me to approve its look. And it was missing something. I had asked that the author's signature, not the author, but the artist's signature was on the art. You know, because it was on the front of the art. This artist doesn't do book illustrations. This artist does murals. And he does t-shirt designs. He does surfboards. He's an artist. And so he signed it. And I own the artwork for my book. And so I had told them to leave the signature on the art on the book. Well, my copy, the cover did not have his signature on it. So I contacted them and said, it was supposed to have the artist's signature for the art. And I haven't mentioned in the book, artist illustrated by, art by Rick Rietveld. but his signature is supposed to be on it. They're like, oh, I'm so sorry. They make sure the signature's on it. And I get 10 copies because, well, after I approve it, then I get 10 copies for myself. And so the author copy is the only one without the signature. I gave that to my husband, and he was ecstatic. He was very happy with it. So, a few years back, tight situation, I think we need formula. You know, things had gone bad since the economy crashed, and desperate situations. He sold the book. Got $20 for it. Got formula. Baby's tummy's nice and round, and he's sleeping drunk and happy on milk. But so, hoping at some point we find that copy and buy it back, because, you know, it's just special to us. And it's the only one without the signature, so it will stand out. When I see the book, I will know it. But since then, I've sold. I would have to say I made more than a cup of coffee. I'm not selling off the. I'm not selling off the shelf. But this year, I've sold 6 books. And I'm hoping to continue selling. I haven't really marketed. Marketing is still something I'm working at. But yeah, I have this book. It's fully completed. It's available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Walmart, Target. I mean, if you look up Harvest Island by C. Lee Braxton, C.Lee, L-E-E, Braxton, you'll see the book out there. I mean, it's sold everywhere. And digital copies like $3. Yeah, for the when you do on the computer or the cell phone or tablet. The physical copy is like $19.99 unless it's on sale. Sometimes it's on sale. That's my rooster. He's in my room. I have chickens. Just 2. But yeah. And he's rude. Sometimes. That's Maelstrom. And my girl is Mayhem. So they're my chaotic chickens. Because, you know, D&D. Alright. Thank you.